Hello world, welcome to edupediaworld.com. So in this video I am going to tell you about the data types which are supported by the basic programming language. Program simply is a set of instructions given to the computer to perform our desired task or to tell the computer what to do and how to do. Computer holds data in the memory, or simply it is called a data type. So let's have a look at some data types which are supported by BASIC. Number one is the variables. They simply allow us to store and change information, holds data in memory, are assigned a data type which can change throughout the program's operation. Data entered must be the same data type as assigned to the variable. So simply variables are a name that is given to the data, so it must not start with a number or a letter and a character, which also should not be a reserved name such as like CLS, new, let, etc. These basically are reserved names because these are used as a statement in variable, which we will study in later slides. So now comes the declaration of the variable. In QBasic, we have two ways to declare a variable. The first one is to put a data type symbol after the name of the variable given. So the most commonly used data type symbols are for a variable called string. We have a data type symbol of $. So the string is simply, as the name is showing, text and characters where the maximum value is up to 32,767 characters. Then comes the integer sign. The particular sign for an integer is the percentage sign. Integer simply is a 2-byte long non-floating point number, or you can say a non-fractional number which does not contain a fractional value. Ranges from the minimum to maximum values are in thousands. Then comes the long, which is a 4-byte long non-floating point number. Now it ranges in millions, and the sign, the particular sign for it is the ampersand sign. Then comes the 2 bytes and 4 bytes long floating point numbers, simply which support the fractional part which contains a decimal part. So for single floating point number, the sign used is the mark of exclamation. Similarly, for a double floating point number, the mark used is the hash sign. The ranges there, as their names are showing, single having a single precision value, so it ranges in exponential power up till 38, whereas the bytes are double, it is a 4-byte long double precision value, so the exponential power ranges in billions now up to 308. Aside from these 5 built-in data types which I have studied yet, there are 2 more built-in data types which are only for QBasic 64-bit data, or you can say 8 bytes long data, simply denoted by double ampersand sign and double hash sign, named as underscore integer 64 and underscore float. Subsequently, to support the integer as well as the floating point numbers or the decimal point numbers, but it is only for QBasic 64-bit data version. So simply declaring the 5 built-in data types by adding the character reserved for them at the end of the variable name is also known as implicit declaration. As let's have a look at some examples now. Suppose I have taken a name, my name, any variable named as my name. I have put a $sign at the end of it. So by putting the $sign at the end of it, it will be treated as a string now in QBasic. So I have assigned it a character value now, which simply is hello world. Similarly, I have taken another variable, say num1, by putting a percentage sign at the end of it. It will behave as an integer now. Similarly, by putting an exclamation mark at the end of the variable will become a single variable, a double variable, or you can say a long integer. Then by putting a hash at the end of a variable name, it will now function as a floating point number or as a decimal point number. The second way to declare the variables is the preferred way, as it is the method which is used by Visual Basic, and it is also known as explicit variable declaration. So in it, instead of using these reserved data symbols at the end of the variable's names, we are only using a reserved word dim to make the variable of our own desired data type. For example, by using the reserved word dim, I have taken the same variable my name as string and assigned the same value to it. So now I do not have to put that $sign at the end of my variable name. Similar is the case with integer, long and double. I just have marked them or assigned them the values by using the reserved word dim instead of using those signs, those reserved signs again and again. So now comes the constant. Constants are the data or values in a program that cannot be changed during the entire program's execution. The data may be a letter, number, or word. The two main categories for constants are string constant or numeric constant. Simply the variables with the 5 built-in data types which we have declared earlier either implicitly or explicitly behave as constants as long as they persist or retain the same value throughout the program's execution. Then they simply are called the constants. So thank you for watching a video on edupediaworld.com.